This is Fort Point Lighthouse, which is the walking that we do every night. It's only 5 minutes from our studio. And this is the old capital of New France when it was discovered in I think the 1600s. And now it's a lighthouse. But a non-functioning one, they don't do them anymore. This is the new little bit of garden that I'm going to do this year. So I just finished putting it together, and I'll be putting some little pots or something with plants in down the center of the mulch area so we can tidy up this little courtyard a little bit. I already have peas in there, and my delphiniums and Maltese cross flowers are coming up really fast, so we'll get this area sorted out over the next week. Okay, this is Vaughan Smith at westcoastbellpottery.ca in Nova Scotia, Canada. It's April 28th and we are opening our gallery for the season, and this is the first gallery tour that we're doing for the year. So that's what people see when they come in. I've rearranged everything. We've repainted all the pedestals, all the shelving. It's taken a week of organization to get ready for this new season. My wife and I make everything in the building. People are always surprised because there's so much variety, but that's because I've done it for 50 years. I hate to say that. Most of the time I feel like I'm 35. But it's, being 68 is, got its advantages as well. So this is the window on the left as you come in. So I've changed everything. So the crows and all the black and white carved pieces are over here now. There's some of the fish up there as well. And this is a very popular design that I make. I feed crows and just about everything on my deck at the studio. Ravens, not so much. I think I've seen one or two, but most of them are crows. I have fish all over the front of the studio building, and we have a few in here, but you can't really see that easily, I guess. So let me back up a little bit and show you the right-hand side. So those are printed tiles there with some carved tiles behind. We just bought a new rack for cards. We've been selling a lot more note cards, which is interesting because you think of it, all the e-cards that you can do these days, but we actually are selling more cards recently. So I invested in a nice rack. There you go. If you see something that you'd like more information on, you just email me at vsmithpots@eastlink.ca and I can send you better photographs of the piece. Just tell me the timestamp in the video that you saw it. Those top pieces, the cat stencils, horse stencil pieces, I've talked about that. I rarely do those pieces anymore. I did them for 27 years. And so I'm just winding that design down, although I'll make it when anybody orders something. But it's a very time-consuming technique. There we go. They're all going home from work. This is the lighthouse route that this building stands on, so it's a very heavily traveled route for Nova Scotia. It's called the lighthouse route because you literally can go from lighthouse to lighthouse on it. We have one that's in walking distance from my studio here. The Fort Point Lighthouse, if you want to look it up. Got 3 little bowls there. These are sinks. I placed those there, and putting pedestals against the windowsill there, we couldn't clean the windowsill for the last 4 years, so it was just a trap for bugs, and it looked pretty disgusting after just a few weeks in the summer. So I've made this so I can get in there now and vacuum out the windowsill. That's a very old piece on top there. I made that in New York, probably 20 odd years ago, but I've always just kept it. It's just a relic from the past, if you like. And actually that piece on the right there is also an older piece. I made that when I had an exhibition in Connecticut. And I have a lot of these framed pieces ready for the season. I concentrated during the winter carving a lot of tiles. And I framed them up because they're artwork. I mean, it's like drawing in clay. This piece is actually, oh gosh, that must be 6 feet long, maybe a bit more than 6 feet. Those tiles are about 13.5 inches square, and that's at least a 6-7 inch frame edge around the whole thing. And then we make prints. They're actually giclées. My wife does original prints too, but these ones are just giclées, which is probably not really a print. It's more of a reproduction. So we have a lot of these, and it's actually it's hard to frame things up like this. I let people buy them and then do the framing themselves, because it takes a long time to frame something, and then you've got to add that cost onto the pieces. These are all 120 Canadian dollars each. Got some little carved mugs here. I have a lot of those pieces in the other gallery. I'll show you the other gallery in the next video. I love that piece. I'm surprised it hasn't sold. It's about 2 years old, that piece. This one is a couple of seasons old as well. Jackie's hand-painted mugs. And here's a castle I made with my pottery class that was so much work. The dragon was incredibly hard to make. And I was convinced it would crack and warp off the top, but it didn't. And it's actually a candle unit. You put a candle in each turret so the windows light up. Nobody made it in my class. It was just too big a project, I guess. It's hard for somebody who isn't... I mean, literally took me a week to make that, all with nothing else getting done that week. The dragon was amazingly difficult. But I was motivated. I wanted to make more, but I never have had time. Tea balls, lots of tea balls. And that's what you call a big fish. This piece is about 6 feet high as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 feet plus the frame, so you've got 6 feet. Yeah. Now, as a potter, we all, make so many pieces, but I kind of always say that every other sale is a coffee mug. I wouldn't be surprised if it's even more than that. But we make a living making, coffee mugs, and then sell our pieces occasionally. But so I put my coffee mugs now right by the table, because I actually know that when people are leaving here, They may need a gift right at the last minute. They suddenly think of something, and there's some mugs right there that they can pick from. This is the new card rack. I spent a large part of the day putting 2 of these together. They're actually very tall, about 6.5 feet tall. We make all the note cards ourselves too. I literally go to Walmart and get photographs done of our pieces, and then order cardstock from Amazon. And we spend evenings in the winter gluing cards onto cardstock. And putting them in envelopes. Oh, that reflected really badly. This is one of my wife's pieces. It's really nice. Not too bad as the reflection. So that's the view from the other side of the gallery. It's a nice sunny day, 28th of April. Let's have a quick look at these two. So that piece is about 5 feet high. It's a little smaller. This piece I love, and the frame I love a lot too. It's really a nice piece. I'm sure that one will go this year. It's brand new for this season, so. Some pieces don't sell for years, and other pieces sell as soon as they come out of the kiln. We have a loon that keeps us awake some nights. And that's him. Okay, we'll go upstairs. This dragon up here is not mine. This is my neighbor, Paul Kelly, who you can look up. He has a website, Paul Kelly something. You can just look up the name Paul Kelly. But he makes mostly paintings and drawings. So let's stop at each one of these. That's the LaHave Bakery, and we have a heron and a whole bunch of birds because I feed the birds. Okay, too bad about the reflection there. Now I'm going to pan around the whole building a second. This is totally stocked now. If the tourists turn up this year, we should have enough work for the entire season without me feeling pressured too much, because I think I want to spend more time gardening. Those big pieces were actually downstairs before. We've brought them up here now. Right. This is what I call the Cove series in various times of day and seasons of the year. So it's the water with a little bit of land. We're actually, the house and the studio here is on Getson Cove. So it's kind of based on that. That piece in the corner is also very old. I made that about 20 years ago. And I made a pair and I sold the other one and never did sell that one. I know that one went to Ottawa the matching pair of that tall, thin vase. That large piece there's a matching sister of that in the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia in Halifax. They have 4 of my large murals and 1 of those large jars. Somebody else is going to dust those for the rest of eternity. It's a bit tight here. Man hugging horse. Look how much carving is in that. That's a, what's it called? Garden path. That's what it looks like. Gosh, this is a lot of work. Bad reflection. There's a video of me making those chickens too. These bird baths will go outside soon. We'll still have a chance of a freeze or a frost until June, say June 7th in Nova Scotia. That should make some people shiver in Florida. And I know that because I lost some flowers in early June one year because of a frost. See if we can get that reflection out of there. These are knitting balls for what yarn and balls of wool, very popular in Nova Scotia. We used to own chickens. I loved having chickens, but we used to lose so many through predators that in the end it was just too sad. We only used them for the eggs. I actually used to bury them in trees. Like an Indian burial, I think it's called. One of my chickens used to sit on my shoulder like a parrot. There's a video on these sinks as well. I have videos on the goblets there and the chickens. Here's some more of Jackie's pieces. There's the studio over there. These are all underglaze painted on red clay, fired to cone 01, using a Ghostly borate glaze. And I love this bowl. I'm always surprised this hasn't sold, but it's so large. It actually measures almost 2 feet across. That one's one of the chattering bowls. The texture's really nice on that because of the chattering. I buy those chattering tools, of course, from artisanpotterytools.com. I like this glaze. It's mouse grey or mouse brown with my oatmeal over the top, but it definitely hasn't been popular as colouring. That's called farm cats. This is also an older piece. No, it's not that. That's actually here. So, yeah, that's probably only about 7 or 8, maybe 9 years old. The large pieces can take years and years and years to sell. The right person has to come through the door who just needs it. just regular stoneware. I've put everything in colors on the shelves to kind of help people decide. I still have a little bit of work to do on this shelving unit, actually. There's some Randy's red there. And there's the blue, green, copper red pieces. It's another one of these large jars. Enormous amount of work in a piece like that. When I make things like that, I don't do them just to sell them because I just think it'll be so hard to sell. I just do it to sort of give myself a challenge. Yep, I still have some work to do on this shelf unit. Here's another one I still need to work on a little bit. Icelandic pieces at the top. Winter series, I basically should call them. And there's a couple of vases I made with this, trying to get a tartan appearance, but a lot of the colors faded out, so it never worked very well. I was trying to produce a sort of tartan look. And those are shaving mugs. Randy's red pieces. That's a Christmas plate. I haven't done them much recently, but I used to make a plate every Christmas with a winter scene on it. But it's because I don't do the stencil technique very much more. Okay, now I'm going to walk down the stairs and show you the pictures that were on the other side of the staircase. I'm not sure if I showed you the wall up here though. That one, they're tall tiles, so I think that one is probably about 13.5 by 11-inch tiles. They could be 12-inch tiles, but... And that is a very old piece from when we lived in New York, and I lived near the Catskill Game Park. So it has African animals. I used to like to go to that park. You could actually mingle with a lot of the animals, and they would come up and take food out of your pocket. And here's the view of the downstairs. So this is a lot of work. You know, we end up not making much at all in the summer season. It is very busy for about 8 weeks. So hopefully most of this will be gone by the fall. And next week I will show you a video of the studio showroom, which is much smaller, but that's a new showroom for this year basically. So thank you for putting up with me talking for the rest of the last half an hour. And if you see anything, just email me, vsmithpots@eastlink.ca, a timestamp in this movie, and I can send you a picture of it. Thank you very much, and have a great spring.